between Trump and Putin took place on August 15th, 2025, at Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson, in Alaska. In a recent summit in Alaska, Trump and Putin met, and while no formal agreements were reached, Trump shifted his stance from advocating for a ceasefire to supporting direct peace negotiations, which kind of aligns more with Russia's position. This is seen as a diplomatic setback for the United States. On the other hand, China has a vested interest in the conflict continuing because they feel that if Russia is defended, they might be the next target by the US. So they kind of want the war to continue. There's other aspects to take into as well. Likes are appreciated. Guys, if you want to know a little bit more about me, I have some behind the scenes stuff. I have a lot of content on my page. We're going over 100 pieces of content right now, including a post. I'm going to start posting weekly about the hidden dangers of nature. I feel like that is a very appropriate topic to address too as well. I'm trying to bring everything to the table and try to offer solutions to these problems so that way, as a whole, we can grow. So Trump speaks out about this situation. He made a press conference and he spoke out about the situation, and he's basically saying that it's not looking good for China's involvement. The fact that Russia called on China and China actually responded, and the fact that we've spent lots of money with China. I don't even know the amount. I haven't even done that research. But the fact that we are also in debt to China is probably why they switched sides on us. But if Trump, he technically agreed to a peace agreement, which still aligns with Russia's position, right? So then Russia could still do what they want to do with Ukraine while Trump just sits on the sideline like he was supposed to. But Trump says, well, we don't necessarily believe everything he's saying. He says that he wants the killing to stop. So in other countries, you want the killing to stop. Right here in our home country, right here in the heart of America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, we the people. But you can't fix crime on these streets. You're actually authorizing crime. And then the uniforms and officers that you authorize with their mask on their face, this ICE situation, those people are being exposed. And then I know that, contrary to belief, people want to harm those people. And there are people who will do just that. I think we should be aware of a time that we're in right now. People are waking up. People are realizing, people are seeing it for what it is. And they're seeing you for who you are. You're signing into things for us that we didn't even agree upon. Just you and whoever these conservatives or tyrants. It's absolutely sad to see this world. It wasn't this bad when I was growing up. It seems like ever since technology came out, like more things are coming more advanced, and it's not like it's some surprise to us that the government is acting a damn fool. And we the people have the right to overthrow the government. Absolutely. You have all them rights to overthrow the government. If they're not, it's a penal code. I can't remember exactly where it's located, but I do know what it's portraying. It basically says that if the government is not doing for the people, then the people have to do for themselves. So that means we have to take over. We have to take charge. We have to take over the White House. That's really what it is. And it's not a takeover, it's more of a constructed matter that needs to be understood. We need better leaders. That's really what it is. Everybody's not born to be a leader. You just have to admit that. But we need better leaders in that office. We need people who are not worried about the agenda of cash. When they worry about cash, they forget about life. Because it's buying everything that you think that you need in this imaginary monopoly game that your ancestors created. Before, it was trade. Now, it's selling, import, export, goods. What I'm trying to understand is, how is nobody seeing this? I understand my life is not all that important to most, but if you could just stop and pay attention to people just like me all over the world, reaching out to other people, trying to be competitive as they could possibly be, and just let other people know, yo, I'm on your side, fam. Stop arguing with me. Trump gonna do what he wanna do in the office. We can't stop that. But as us, the people, if the government is no longer doing for us, we must do for ourselves. We must take over. It's just sad that the world we live in now, people are just ignoring the fact that people are dying. They're just ignoring it. Nobody's paying attention. Foster children taken out of their homes because their parents were immigrants, and these children were technically immigrants, and uh, they couldn't get their immigration papers, and it was just kids, foster kids, kids that were, I mean, maybe 4 years old, being put in cuffs. What I don't understand is, and you taking the immigrants out of here, okay, one, that's foul as fuck for you to let these people stay for so long, and they be like, yeah, y'all gotta get out. Y'all gotta. It's the same way that when someone evicts you from a property, but you're evicting all the hardworking people. I am one of the realest people on this planet, and when I tell you about 90% of the Mexicans and Spanish people I run across, dog, I consider them like brothers, bro. They always help me get a job. I was like, bro, I need it. Well, y'all, I'll pull up to a gas station. It can be like 4, 5 Migos, bro, and they've got a little tree cutting company. And I'll be like, bro, I know how to cut trees, bro. I need some money bad, bro. And they be like, okay, you come with us, all right? And then I'm fucking going. I'm making money. You guys don't understand them. People make it, man. And Spanish people, shout out, man. But I want y'all to also know that y'all are some of the most dangerous people on the planet. I'm a black person telling you that. I may look bright skinned, but that's just genetics. Indian and black just make me bright. But I'm telling you, Spanish people, yo, I salute y'all on a lot of things. There's a lot of things I don't like about the older Spanish people. Is they're stuck in their cultural ways. They believe that blacks shouldn't date Spanish, and that shouldn't be a thing. That should not be a thing. It should never ever be a thing. I understand that black people do create crimes, but get to know people before you judge. Stop judging people as a whole. That don't make sense. How can you judge everybody? Dude, that's God's job. Do you understand if you only judge like one race of people, you have to judge each and every one of them individual by every action that they have ever done in their entire life and how they feel about it, what they think. Like, dude, you can't do that. You can't do that. So you can't judge an entire group of people. That's the one thing about the Spanish community that I very much dislike. I love everybody. I hope everybody flourishes. I hope everybody does well in life. I think the biggest thing we have to work on as a whole, and my friend taught me this shit. Um, he told me that you have to manifest that shit first. And I completely agree. I was overlooking this and knew the knowledge the whole time. So yeah, it's true, it's not easy for anybody, but if we unite, we group up, and then people just lock in with me, yo. I'm gonna provide all the truth that I can before they silence me. It's a matter of time before they tell me to shut the fuck up, and then I'm gonna push past that, and then they really gonna try to silence me. Then I'm gonna be on the run, and then I'm gonna have to, you know what I mean? It's not gonna be a beautiful thing to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, the whole truth. So help me God. Like I'm not doing, I can't do 100%, but I can do what the guidelines allow me to provide, and then I'll let you have your hypotheticals. You feel me? I can't tell you what to believe, and I can't force you to come this direction, but I can tell you, yo, shit is different out here. Shit hit different out here. At some point in time, my rambles will take off. People will see my side of the story. It's up to anybody who's passing by watching now to stay tuned in because I'm gonna keep posting. You're gonna end up knowing my face, going live. I'm gonna keep telling the truth, and I'm gonna keep bringing news in every direction. And I have plenty different playlists that you could get involved into. You could just binge watch all of the funny stuff if that's what you're into. Just look on my, just look on my page and see what I have. I mean, I could bet my life on this shit that there's stuff on my page that you will watch. The longer videos are not meant to be entertaining. So for some who get on the page and look at the longer videos and be like, no man, this ain't where it's at. No, you're not supposed to look at just long videos. Long videos are led by other videos. Each one of my videos have another video at the bottom that is ready to go. So if you're watching a Trump video on part one, it's gonna show part two, and you click on part two, that's it, and then it shows you what's up. I guarantee if you just take your time out of your busy life, you will understand that I'm on some real shit. This is medicinal purposes. I inhale and exhale. Extra extracurricular activities. I mean, set the record straight for this. The reason I smoke is because I have a few things that divide me from the normal crowd. They're called disabilities. I don't like to call them that. It sounds very weakening. I'm not disabled, but I do have some criteria that need to be met. Okay, imagine your brain nonstop, nonstop. It just, I mean, nonstop. Like, I really mean this. Like, when you lay down, go to sleep, your brain, it starts reminding you of things that happened during the day, that a song that you remember, or something, a weird tune that'll bring up something. You could creak the bed and then creak, and then that creak sound could start off and be a tune in your head or whatever, right? And then there's times that you have, um, and then when you do fall asleep, you have nightmares. And then because you're smoking the stuff, it makes the nightmares blurry. But there is no true medicine for a dream. I want people to understand this. You need to wake up. A dream is not just a dream. It's never just been a dream. It's always been the real thing. I'm going to keep spreading this to people, see what it really is. I have very vivid dreams, very, very vivid. And no matter how much of this intoxication I consume, I still cannot stress it enough that a dream is not just a dream. I've had premonitions before, and it's not something that I was worried about, not something I was thinking about. People that I wasn't even. People can argue that, yeah, it's in your subconscious. You're thinking about it really, really deep, but to be honest, that can be further from the fucking truth. There's times I have never thought about shit until I had a dream about it. And then that shit became true. And it's not just one time. It's like, oh, okay, damn, one time. What a coinky dink. What a coincidence. No, no. This happened too many times. I've always had dreams. I just never spoke out about it. I've I've, I've always seen things. I just never said things about it. And I know, and I know, and I know for a fact that Jesus is real. I I'm gonna explain it the way how I know for sure. I cannot make anyone believe this, and I don't expect anyone to believe anything they see on the fucking internet, because all this shit could be just is a lie. But I know for a fact that if this is how I figured it out, 2020, 22 or 2021, I went to Haiti, and I was dating a Haitian girl, right? And I didn't know about this culture like that. She's always warned me about it, but she's a big believer because she believes she's seen things. Okay, that's her perspective. But I also have been with her for 13 years, and I realize she do hype things up to be more than what they are. But in this specific incident, when I went to Haiti, when we landed, it was pretty normal. Um, a lot of black people, a lot of Haitians, I suppose, coming home to visit their family, coming home to stay, whatever. And then we left the airport. We ran up on these people she recognized. Well, yeah, she recognized them because of a phone call and a car meet. And then when we found out where they were, it kind of looked like a jail station. I'm not even gonna lie. It looks like when you land there and you get outside, it kind of looks like you finna go to jail. Like you are being taken in right now. This shit looks crazy, but nobody ever approaches you or shit like that. I mean, I'm light skinned, so, and I've been told that I'm easy on the eyes, so I believe the reason people were staring at me is because of those two factors. But regardless of that, I when we left the airport in like a Jeep type vehicle, stood off the ground maybe a foot, and we got in there. They made me sit in the front. All these ladies with us, one guy driver. It was two ladies with us, and then there was the woman I came with. Um, so we started driving, and I'm thinking, maybe 45 minutes tops of where the fuck we finna go. That shit was like 4 hour drive. And then it was so crazy of a drive. I could not sleep through the shit. I cannot stress this. I could not sleep through this drive. And it was 4 hour drive. And I was in the passenger seat, buckled up, leaned back. When certain cities I went through, I had to lean back because I was, light skinned and I was American. And I obviously don't have the accent or speak the language of the cultural people over there. So I had to just keep down. So then the roads were broken, and then there were people you paid money for them to put their board where you could drive across that shit. So it was crazy. It was a lot of crumble. It was a lot of brokenness over there, but the people seemed to not be broken. I mean, there were people. I mean, you could see in their faces some of them was looking mad, but I think this is how they look when they're like just, the sun and all that stuff. It's the reason they're so dark. But when we got closer to where we was gonna be at, which was so countryside, and there was a bridge, but the bridge was broken in half, like the fucking like a video game or some shit, right? And then there was some people over close to the broken bridge, but they was on the right side of the road where the road goes off into a river. And these kids were telling us, oh, we could come this way. They'll show us how to drive through it. Because today, how the water is, there's like it was like you never know how the water's gonna be or where it's gonna be potholes. But the kids play out there all the time. They bathe out there. You see a lot of little naked boys playing with themselves, or just doing some stuff you don't see on a normal thing. Naked girls, naked ladies. Uh, I didn't see no naked man. I just seen like naked boys, naked ladies, and like naked girls. They were bathing in the river and stuff as we were passing by. But the kids were showing us. Some of these kids were naked. A lot of them was dressed up, but they were showing us how to get across the river in this jeep. And I mean, we damn near drove until the engine. I know the engine done got hit with plenty of water. That bit was soaping. So once we got across, though, it was the craziest shit. That was so fucking crazy. Driving through a fucking river in the passenger seat, thinking I'm like, damn, I got all my bags and shit in here, bro. I got my electronics and shit on me, bro. Like, do not let us fucking sink inside this motherfucker, bro. And I'm just in here thinking like, damn, I'm just gonna end up getting on the motherfucking roof of this bitch. This bitch started going down. So I get ready to like reach for my seatbelt, but we end up getting across. And I'm like, anybody in their right mind, even if you don't believe in God, this is what you would have said. Thank God. Thank God. So I made it across. I was like, damn, okay, cool. And then we went up this thing and went back where the bridge. Well, the bridge was broken, but the bridge was now behind us. So it's like we went on the side, it was supposed to be like a side ramp, but it wasn't. It was designed by cars just driving that direction so much over time that it created a path, so to speak. It wasn't meant to be a road. It was meant to be a river underneath. But once we got up there, there was some kind of shack on the right with kids and stuff like that playing hide and go seek or some shit. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. And then we got further down, and there was some kid that tucked his ding dong in between his legs and started walking down the road like a girl and stuff. And like Everybody in the car thought it was funny, and I was like, bro, this is some weird shit. I've never seen no shit like this in my life, bro. And I'm thinking like, damn, the trip got to be almost fucking over. No, we drove through a city, then we drove through the country again. But the city wasn't like no American city. That shit was wore down, broken. That shit had no AC. That shit had like very little power in certain places. That shit had the ACs in some places wasn't cold, and the refrigeration wasn't really refrigerating. But then on top of that, it was very hard for me to find my canvas. So I gave it up. I stopped. I thought it'd be better anyways if I just stopped smoking completely and just focus on, myself. So that's what I did. Once we got over all that stuff and got through the country, they parked at the bottom of some kind of like broken gravel and debris hill, and up that hill, it was a hill. Like, I'm not lying, it was a fucking hill, but it was broken like gravel and debris every fucking where, and it was like some kind of they had like a little bit further up, there was some kind of little station, a little charging station, and I think they serve beverages as well. So they would have beers and stuff like that, and waters, you know. But anyway, so and then there was another spot. There's another person that had a house up there that some people house had power, so some people they would like hook up. They would make a big charging station, and you just pay them a few dollars, and then they would charge your phone, and then they'll make sure nobody touches your phone and nothing like that. And it was actually secure, and I was actually very, very nervous about this. I didn't know that this would have to be a thing. I had a $2,000 phone with me, and that was my only phone with me. And I don't have that phone was everything. Camera, lights, camera, action. That phone was everything. And I got the second generation of that phone now, but I'm thinking about to no longer go on to the next generation or any more generations of this sort, because I'm gonna give y'all my full review in another video. But so now this gravel debris, we got out of the truck and we parked it at like some kind of shed or something. We just sat down, we talked for a while, but I didn't really understand what was going on. There was a lady in there, her teeth were bad. Another lady in there, it was a guy. No, it was two guys. The lady was married to a guy. And then there was a guy who was driving. And I guess that he is I guess that he's just a driver and a friend of the family or some sort of something like that. But there was stuff that I seen that he did that I was like, yo, this shit is inappropriate as fuck. But I'm gonna get to that one after. So this trip, I have to get all this out. This trip, I had to deal with no lights, no running water. So that means like brushing your teeth, flushing the toilet, like all of that was a no-go. Like, no generator. The ground was dirt. So she would come in and she would wet the dirt, and then she'll sweep out the debris. And she swept it out with a pom-pom from a fucking palm tree. And I was actually in these living conditions because I believed in this damn girl. And the craziest thing is, we were supposed to be there to get the bad luck off of us, supposedly. We were supposed to be there to get the bad luck off of us, some kind of ritual, right? And I'm like, I'll watch you do it. And I was like, well, I loved her enough, I would try this. it's about time I said this shit. So I tried the shit with her, but she went first. And they like had to have so many ingredients and so many different powders and so many different fruits and even live um, birds, chickens, even like I don't know. It was a lot of different things, and basically she went first, and it was like all this different stuff and fruits and stuff that they um, extracted and got all the juices and they put it inside one big pot and like they did all kinds of stuff and then they even killed the bird right in front of my face, like just like smush his motherfucking head up and just kept smushing him down and shit like that until this nigga was like a pile of juices. Like it was gross. And then they put that shit in the juices and then they wash her down when she's just down to her bra and her panties. And then she has to not bathe for 3 days. And that nasty ass heat out there, bro, with no running water like that, man. You gotta go carry buckets from the bottom up. It was absolutely horrible. But I lost like 20 pounds that week. No shit. Like 20 fucking pounds that week. That is absolutely and then I don't want to elaborate on like how I felt when they were doing that shit to me. I don't want to elaborate on that, but I do know the next day I woke up and I threw up in a 5-gallon bucket, and the bucket was like this much. That's how I can put it. This much at the bottom of the bucket was like fucking blood and maybe some water or some shit. Like it was very, very bloody. And I threw that shit up. And then from there on, I didn't want to smoke cigarettes. I didn't want to fucking smoke weed. I didn't want to smoke shit anymore. But after I threw up all that, everybody thought I was dying. So um, after they did that, after I threw that up, I wiped my mouth. I could still taste the iron that was in my blood. And then I remember saying like in Creole, I said "Mwen gango," right? Which is for people in normal English. If you don't know what that means, it's like I'm saying I'm hungry, right? So I said I was hungry, and then everybody started laughing. And it was like, wow, bro, even on the brinks of death, this guy he just doesn't care. I'm like, well, I'm not really attached to this world. I look at the people here and I just study y'all. I'm not even gonna lie, I just look around and I just watch people. I watch people be who they are and what they are. And I realize I can't trust any of y'all. But the good thing is, we can build a community that none of those fake people are in there, right? Because I know there's reals out there. I'm looking for the realest. I used to do music. Um, After all that Diddy and stuff like that, it threw my whole interest off. And I know that there's ways I can make money off of my music without having to do all that. But I've also had very hard problems recording in my own house. But after this trip from Haiti, I've had a lot of, even while I was over there, I had a lot of nightmares. And this is what made me really believe that Jesus was absolutely real, because they had to ask permission from God, from Jesus, from God, the King of Kings. They had to ask permission to do this ceremony or to do this ritual. So, and that's just a part of it. It's like this is very hard to explain, but this is absolutely true. I wish I could just show you the images that I saw in my own head. And all right, so I was being translated this stuff by a girl I've been with at this point probably 9, 10. But me and her really never connected. So like speaking to her, like it's like talking through. So there's a lot of shit I never shared. A lot of shit. And this specific incident, she was being possessed, right? And there was a bell that was being rung. There was these everybody in the room was singing, and there was these little kids singing. Kids had to be a part of it because of some sort of innocence that they had. It brought the presence of the spirit that they try to call upon, but sometimes it's not the spirit that they call upon, but the one that came was the one that knows me. And it was absolutely fucking crazy. I cannot tell you how crazy this shit was. This spirit was this the first thing that she said that really blew my fucking mind is it didn't blow my mind right away. It built up. So she was basically saying something like she said something and I was just looking at her like as if like okay. Actually, the first time she came, she tried to knock over a table, but she was like kind of weak in her arms type shit. Like she could only like kind of move her legs, and I don't know. It was a little weird. It looks like something was happening, or she would put on a very good show at this point. At this point, I'm still thinking like this is all bullshit. I'm trying to see what the fuck really happened. And so she was mad for a while. The lady who was being possessed, she was mad for a while, and she was basically, I was being told that by the chick I was with for 10 years, she was translating, basically telling me that she's mad because this place is dirty, and she already blessed. She knows that she don't like coming to dirty places or some shit like that. And if you try to bring me here again, I'm gonna burn this place. I'm gonna burn this place up with cuss words and stuff. And the spirit eventually calms down because the husband trying to control the spirit by binding her to the wall by putting his arms around her so she can't go anywhere. And then eventually she cools down, and then she sits down in a chair and she starts looking around the room and getting to know everybody, right? And eventually she starts talking about like an event where I met her, and she tried to get my attention 3 times and I didn't pay attention at all. And now I'm like, the fuck are you talking about, dude? I don't go out and do shit. But she told me the time that I was at a fair and there was a white lady trying to get my attention at this fair. That's what she's telling me, word from word, what I'm being told. And she tried to get my attention 3 times to come over there. And I thought about that and I was like, damn, I was at the fair one time and there was this fucking white lady trying to get my attention. And 3 times I did pass her, bro. And every single time she tried to get my attention, and there were other people walking around at least 1 or 2 times that I passed by her. So it wasn't like I was the only target. I had my family with me. But the fact that she brought that up made me question, like, how the fuck she know that? And then she said that that was her. She was trying to get my attention. She wanted to tell me something. And I found that so fucking weird. And I'm like, damn, can't be. Uh-uh, can't be. Well, how the fuck you know that? And she painted that shit so goddamn clear that I was like, damn, She really fucking saw me at the fair. How she know about that day? Why am I remembering that day when she speaks about it? Like I remember that day so vivid, and dude, I don't remember a lot of the times because I just be high out of my mind, hanging with family and stuff, man. I just be enjoying the moment, not even remembering. I try to take pictures and record and stuff like that, but that'd be the only way I could really remember is by re-seeing that shit again. But when she was speaking about it, it's as if it was coming to me as she was talking about it, and I found that to be so fucking strange. And then there was some other times she started talking about like she knows my mother. She knows my mother have a dark cloud on that side of the family. That's her word. She said it's a dark cloud over my mother's side of the family. She didn't say anything about my father's side. Um, so I'm guessing that side isn't. I'm guessing that side is. He's been in prison before. He did some heavy drugs before, but he doesn't want to admit it. But she didn't bring up anything about him, and she just she went on for a little while about a few events that I never even spoke of. I never even spoke of. I just remembered. And I'm like, how the fuck? And now I'm starting to think this shit is real. And then I ask, so y'all have to call on Jesus to do this? And then she's like, yes, we have to. We have to ask permission. You a goddamn fool if you don't believe. It just hypothetically say that that was absolutely true. That situation I just said. If all that shit was absolutely true. Hypothetically now, wouldn't there be an ultimate power somewhere? Why does a spirit have to call on God and ask for permission? It don't call on to the devil. No, can't do it like that. I believe in Jesus. So when it comes down to it, I already know, like, I've had nightmares where only Jesus got me out of these motherfuckers. You say what the hell you want to say, however the hell you want to say it. I am not a fucking idiot, bro. I'm very educated. I understand life for what it is. But when I tell you, the only thing that makes me different is I always dream and I see things different. I see things different about the world. It's not just my perspective. It's just like looking at it the right way. I look at things like it should be right or wrong for most things. Some things do have gray areas, unfortunately, because this is not a perfect world. But there's ways around a lot of things, and people take advantage of that, and that's what makes loopholes. But I want to go back to the story about the spirit. And then she told me that she was been with me a very long time since I was like 13 years old. She's like 13 or 13 years old is when she said, I think. She said she's been with me for a long time. She's always been with me. That's what she said. She said, she said she always visits me. She said, do you ever remember dreams about the water? I started thinking. I said, damn, I have a lot of dreams about fucking water, bro. There's even scary dreams I have about water. And I said that. And she's like, well, the scary dreams are when we're mad, you're not paying attention. And then She said, water dreams, she said, all those water dreams, I always come to see you. You ever see a white lady or a light-skinned lady in your dreams? And I'm like, a lot of times, I always see a white lady in my dreams. I always see some light-skinned lady. I see black ladies too. And I've, I've had some crazy dreams. I had some crazy dreams. Like after all this ritual stuff was done, my dreams were so vivid, I was living in them. I had powers. I can control people and control things. I had this mental ability, like almost like Professor X off of X-Men. I could control people and make them do what I wanted them to do with my mind. And I had powers. I could fly. I could snap my finger like that and make a flame on top of my thumb. It was wild. I could do this shit right here and it bend fences down. And it's like it was crazy. I knew what I could do with these powers. That was the crazy shit. Like I've never been trained to use these powers and I knew how to use them. I knew how to use them. Probably in a high stakes situation, if somebody's chasing me, I would know how to use them good enough, I would hope. But in the dream, it felt natural. It felt like I would use powers. I would actually have a power. I would give off energy to do this, just like in the movies. And then like after I do that and I wake up the next day, oh my God, I'm out of energy. Like I wake up, I'm like, fuck, I can't. She's like, what the hell wrong with you? I'm like, I can't move right now. I'm so fucking weak. So fucking weak, right? And then she don't be understanding. She ain't pay attention. She ain't see the plot. She ain't see it. People don't see it. It be right there in front of our eyes. Right there in front of our eyes. Like you go to sleep, you know you die. You know you dead, right? When you sleep, right? You died. The fact that you guys don't know that you actually die when you go to sleep. So that means your spirit is always going to be alive. No matter what happens, your spirit is always going to be alive. So if it's in this dimension, your spirit cannot exist in the flesh. Like it can only it can exist only in the flesh. It can't exist physically by itself. It needs a host, kind of like the Venom movie, right? But not necessarily host. It just needs its own shell. And eventually this shell will give way. Why? Because we're on land right now. We're up here eating up all this fucking sunlight. I know people be like, you need this, I need that stuff, but that's just shit that's aging us. And it's aging us a lot faster than people are projecting it to be. It is getting hotter. And I do believe that they do have some kind of control upon this weather. I don't know how, well, I've seen a lot of vids, but to be honest, unless I see it with my own eyes, it's hard to believe these things. And these vids could have been faked. I didn't research them. I just wanted to see something that was kind of maybe give me a little spook, you know? Sometimes you just scroll across something, you be like, wow, let me just dig into this for a little while, you know? But that'd be little parts of you that be just wanting to explore different areas or just go, or you just feel it in you where you kind of want to just watch something. But that spirit told me she's always with me and she told me that she has a husband. And I know their names. There's no point in saying the name because when you say a name, it grabs the attention of the person you're trying to call. You understand what I'm saying? So saying names is it's like a wake thing, you know. It's kind of like hitting a person with that powder underneath their nose when they've been knocked out. and it wakes them up out of the motherfucking dead, pretty much. Like it's a very, very powerful substance. I forgot the name of it, but you've seen it in movies. It's just like that. Like people will. It's like a weight thing when it comes to spirits. You know, it draws them, and the darker you are on the inside, the more darkness you have around you. The more times you come to a conclusion that you have struggles with certain things, or like, let's say, for example, your brain keeps playing tricks on you. Not necessarily tricks, but keep trying to downplay situations, or even hype you up to get angry about something. Either depresses you. It's only three reasons that a spirit came here. They came to steal, kill, and destroy. So once you understand those factors, that's it. I'm not a preacher, but I do understand what life really is. I felt like I looked at it a lot of different ways. I spent 32 years of my life trying to find out who I was in this world because I didn't fit in. I never fit in. I'm very cool. I can speak my mind. I don't have to be aggressive. I am extremely patient now. People try me in broad, in my daylight, in my face. I keep the same energy. Now, if I could, I let God drive me. So when God drives me, if somebody is ready to swing on me, yo, like it something to happen. Something to happen, or he just missed, or my weave game is crazy too. Especially if I can see you tensing up to do some crazy shit, like I be on point. I don't know how to explain it to you. Like I'm hella blessed. Um, but when the spirit told me that yes, they gotta ask permission, and to ask permission from God to do anything to any one of these spirits that walk amongst the face of this earth. Not spirits, sorry, souls. Because we're not spirits yet. We could become spirits over time, but souls. I just wanted to point that out. All right. Tom, let me talk about you for a minute. I have an interview with your ass today. I got an interview. Okay. Last 3 times we tried to do interviews. He kept rescheduling. No more rescheduling. Calling you out. Fans are calling you out.